What if everything you believed about the world was wrong? What if the people who raised youth, the ones who claimed to love you, most also taught you to fear everything and everyone outside your own walls? This is the story of Tara Westover, a girl born into a survivalist family in the rugged mountains of Idaho. She had no birth certificate, never went to school, and never saw a doctor. Her world was defined by fear. Fear of the government, fear of outsiders, and fear of a world her family saw as corrupt. Her world was impossibly small, but her hunger to understand it was enormous. Tara's childhood was a constant state of emergency, a blur of danger disguised as unshakable faith. Her father was convinced the end of the world was just around the corner, stockpiling supplies and preparing for doomsday. Her mother worked as an unlicensed midwife and an herbalist, treating everything from minor cuts to catastrophic injuries with homemade remedies. Accidents were a part of daily life. Serious injuries were often ignored or treated with tinctures and prayers instead of medical care. And education, that was considered poison, a tool of the devil, designed to lead you astray from God and family. But even in that suffocating environment, a small, persistent voice inside Tara refused to be silenced. It was a whisper that grew louder over time, insisting there has to be more than this. So she began to teach herself, quietly, secretly. She pieced together an education from old, discarded textbooks and any scraps of knowledge she could find. She taught herself enough math, enough grammar, and enough science to take the ACT, the standardized college entrance exam, without ever having set foot inside a classroom. And against all odds, with a score that shocked even her, she got in. She was accepted to Brigham Young University. Can you even imagine what that was like? Walking into your very first college lecture, surrounded by hundreds of students, and not even knowing what the word Holocaust means. Imagine the slow, painful realization that everything you were ever told about history, about medicine, about the world itself, was built on a foundation of fear and falsehoods. For Tara, education wasn't just about memorizing facts and figures. It was about seeing herself clearly for the very first time. Every book she opened was another bar breaking in the cage she was born into. But that newfound freedom came with a devastating cost. Because the moment you begin to question what you've been being taught, you risk losing the very people who taught it to you. Her journey wasn't just about leaving her home in the mountains. It was about leaving behind the version of herself that had to stay small just to make others feel comfortable. There is a powerful line Tara wrote that perfectly captures this struggle. You can love someone and still choose to say goodbye. That is what self-respect looks like sometimes. It isn't about hatred or revenge. It is about having the quiet courage to walk away from the relationships and beliefs that are keeping you broken. She chose the pursuit of truth over the comfort of loyalty. She chose growth over staying in a place she knew. She chose the long, difficult path of healing over the familiar pain of belonging. And that single, brave decision changed the entire course of her life. She went on to earn a PhD from the prestigious Cambridge University. But her greatest education didn't come from any Ivy League institution. It was the painful, beautiful, and ultimately liberating process of learning to think for herself. Tara's story is a profound reminder of a universal truth. You are not defined by your past. You are not your family's mistakes. You are not their fears, and you are not their limiting beliefs. You are who you choose to become, day after day. Real education isn't about collecting degrees or diplomas to hang on a wall. It's about developing awareness. It's about claiming your fundamental right to see the world with your own eyes, to ask your own questions, and to evolve into the person you are meant to be. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how deep the conditioning runs or how loud the voices of your past are. Knowledge, combined with a belief in your own worth, holds the power to liberate you from any past. So, if you're feeling trapped by your upbringing, be past trauma, or by a version of yourself that the world told you to be, I want you to remember Tara's story. Remember that you hold the power to rewrite your own narrative. You have the ability to unlearn what limits you and to educate not just your mind, but your soul. Because the most powerful kind of freedom, the only kind that truly matters, is the freedom to think for yourself. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores the power of the human spirit. Thanks for watching.